Preseason's been it's been great. The guys have been doing an excellent job, working hard, and really buying into to what it takes to be successful. So I'm extremely happy with our progress thus far. We still have another 10 days to go before our first game, but I'm very happy with the progress that the team has shown. I think just the willingness for guys to understand what it takes to be a part of a successful team. Guys understanding their roles and excelling in them and trying to be the best version of themselves and the best they could be in the roles that they're in. Obviously the weather, with the freezing cold last week and school closing, but that's happening all over the country, right? So just kind of working around that and being prepared as a staff to do things virtually or have days where we're watching film if we're not able to get outside. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but it's nothing that people aren't going through all across the country. But I also think too, managing the workload early in the preseason and making sure we're getting in shape, but we're not overdoing it. And our strength staff has done a great job assisting in that. I really want to point out our senior class. I think if you kind of look back at the history of our program, 2 years ago, a lot of those seniors that we have now were role players or secondary guys, secondary options to the seniors and juniors that we had in 2022. Last year, those guys were kind of forced into a big-time role for us, and I thought they did a good job for a lot of the season. But their consistency throughout the fall, not only the fall, but the preseason, with their intensity at practice and how hard and fast they play and how hard they work has been awesome. And I think that those guys have really set the tone for the rest of the group. So that those guys have done a very, very good job. There's a few guys. I think defensively, freshman John Hampton from Texas, who's done a really nice job. Two guys out of the midfield, Jetty Miller and Tony Coviello, have done a really nice job. And then we have a young attackman, Sam Martin, who they've all been playing well. They're guys that are going to be in the mix for us, throughout the year. The last guy just joined us in January, Will Angus, as a freshman from Winnipeg. But for only being here for 10 days, he's done a really good job fitting in with the guys and been very coachable. But really excited to see how those guys develop throughout the course of this year and their careers. I think it's the preseason stuff. So it's great because it gets recognition for players, right? And it kind of is a refresher for what happened last year, right? But it's a new team and it's it's a new season. So I don't put too much stock into the preseason awards, but all three of those guys are guys that played a big role for us last year. And we had a few guys that weren't selected to that team that also made all PBC last year, but we expect those guys to continue to grow and help the team. And they've done a really good job in the preseason, along with a few others that weren't mentioned. But I'm really excited to see those guys continue to grow and help the team be successful. I think we need to be more consistent across the board. If we kind of reflect on last year a little bit, I thought there were games that we played very well. Last year we defeated two teams that we had never beaten before. One of those teams was a conference champion, and those were awesome moments for our program. But we also had some moments where we were inconsistent, and we maybe dropped a game or two or three that we shouldn't have because of our inconsistency. So our focus, in this preseason has been consistent effort, consistent execution, and communication within the group. And I think if we can do that and be very inward focused on what we can do to get better every day, I think that's going to set the table for a pretty special season. Yeah, I'm just we're really excited for the opportunity to compete again. In 24. It's a challenging schedule, but I think our players are ready for it. And I just can't wait to see us compete against another opponent.